Welcome to Straight Talk Africa, live from the Voice of America studios here in Washington. It's Wednesday, October 5th. I am Shaka Ssali. Today, we'll analyze the recent Zambian elections and talk about other upcoming elections on the African continent. We begin in Zambia, where a new president has been elected and a new era is beginning. Long-time opposition leader Michael Sata defeated incumbent President Rupiah Banda in a tight race in an election, frankly, that was too close to call. The newly elected Sata, leader of the Patriotic Front Party, was sworn into office on September 23rd. Zambia's Electoral Commission announced that the 74-year-old Sata won the hotly contested vote, and supporters of Sata celebrated in the streets after the announcement. Last Friday, President Sata swore in his new cabinet, naming his close ally, Guy Scott, as vice president, the first white Zambian to hold that position. Now, for more on the latest developments on the leadership in Zambia, I am joined by Abrey Chindefu. And Cleophas, who was supposed to be joining us, apparently is not around. Abrey, good evening.
Good evening, Shaka. How are you?
I am not particularly terrific because we've been experiencing a lot of technical difficulties here. Okay.
No, it's expected in this era of technology.
Now talk to me about the mood on the ground since, of course, the recent political tsunami that brought in the man, of course, you refer to as King Cobra.
Yes, actually, there have been a lot of upheavals in the new administration. Our new president, Michael Sata, has promised the people of Zambia to sweep what he terms the whole country clean. And Shaka, just to emphasize on that point, today I was passing in front of State House. I've seen what is happening in front of State House. They are trying to beautify the front of State House, and what Sata did when he was governor, he's the one who put all those flowers in front of State House. And what I've seen today is he's just doing exactly what he has said, cleaning, starting from State House.
Now, Abrey, to what extent are people very, very happy about the change that they just voted for?
You know, when you look at the voting pattern in Zambia, most of the youth who have never voted before were actually listed on the voters' register to vote for the first time. And we had two contenders, Rupiah Banda and Michael Sata. Michael Sata had a very strong message for the new voters. He really gave them enthusiasm to go and vote for him because they had high hopes so that they would get more jobs. He has promised them more jobs. He really wants to put more money in their pockets, meaning they have to reduce on the taxes so that the people of Zambia, they would feel that there is a new government. Unfortunately, that is the only point which former President Rupiah Banda missed, because he never had the message for the majority of the youth who were enlisted to be voting for the first time on the voters' roll in Zambia. He never had the message for them. But Michael Sata, our new president, had the message for the new voters. And those are the majority of the voters who voted for him. If you look at the urban areas, when they announced that Michael Sata has won the president of Zambia, I can tell you, Shaka, I've witnessed elections in 1988, in 1991, in 1996, 2001, 2006. I've never seen the euphoria which we had in Zambia like the one we had when Michael Sata won. The whole Zambia, and there was tension. I can assure you there was tension. But when it was announced that Michael Sata has won, the whole Zambia, there was jubilation, and I can tell you that everybody had high hopes and is highly expectant of this government to perform according to the expectation of the president. The president has set has put on record say he's going to keep the country clean. He's going to give the workers the much needed monetary power. And that's what they expect. The people of Zambia, they are high expectant of the president, and they are putting in people who I think they are going to perform.
What about the fact that the new president promised to bring about fundamental changes within 90 days? Do you really think that he has the capacity, he has the ability to deliver on that?
Shaka, what I can tell you is one thing. Before the election, we saw a lot of developmental change which took place within a short period of time. Maybe let's say within the 4 months. The government of Zambia is capable of delivering what they've promised to the people. Having said that, President Michael Sata said, and I quote, he is going to initiate drastic changes within 90 days. And that's what he is doing.
What about reports, Abrey, that yes, he has come with a huge broom that he is trying to use perhaps to sweep corruption out of town? But what about some people, frankly, who say that he actually has begun to do, which is, at least in their words, akin to political witch hunting?
Well, in Africa, Shaka, I'll be very fair on that one. In Africa, we've seen issues where when we go to a campaign, there are always campaign messages for the electorate. And Michael Sata, in his campaign message, he has mentioned that whoever did anything bad in this government, they will follow them. That's the message he gave the electorate. If you call it witch hunting, well, I don't know. Well, it's up to the people to judge whether it's witch hunting or whether that's the campaign message he gave. That's what he said. And what the government did, they are there. They are not out of the country. They are there for them to at least exonerate themselves. If they did anything wrong, the law, there is a law in every country which has to take care of all those things. If they did do anything wrong, they will be exonerated by the same law. I think that way, the best thing to do is let's give it, if there's anything wrong, the law will take its course. Let's give it to the law enforcement agencies to do their work so that they do their work diligently without fear or favor, so that we should not have those issues. If there's a political witch hunt, well, that would be unfortunate. But if it's things which are done in order for them to correct things, let the law take its course. But we expect it to be done fairly and evenly, without necessarily deciding it to any side of the political pendulum.
Some people have said, Abrey, that former President Rupiah Banda deserves credit, especially, frankly, for having conceded defeat with grace. He had the machinery of the state. He could have done a little bit of creative accounting so as to hang on to power. But he decided to put his country above personal interests and, of course, party interests. What about some who say that perhaps the new president, Michael Sata, should pay him back by being magnanimous?
Yes. On that one, Shaka, I'll tell you one thing. As Zambians, we are very, very happy that the former president, Rupiah Banda, did what he did. And it emanated from even efforts which were made, I think, by the former president and the church. I remember before elections, there was a session where the church called the President Banda and the former president and other leaders to the cathedral, the Catholic cathedral, where he pledged, says, if I lose this election, I'm going to concede. And that we congratulate President Banda for having done exactly to his word. He said it himself, if I lose, I'll concede defeat. And that a great man always goes by his word. And Rupiah Banda said, if I lose, I would concede defeat. He is a great man, and he is a great son of Africa. He has done Zambia a great service for having accepted defeat, even though he had all the machinery to do whatever he would have done in order for the results to be in his favor. But he chose not to do what the people of Zambia did not expect of him. The people of Zambia expected of him to concede defeat if he loses genuinely, which he did. We congratulate him, and that, I think even the current president, President Michael Sata, should give him credit, and he should, in whatever he's thinking about doing, whatever, I ask him from the bottom of my soul to consider what President Banda did for the country. Because this country, Shaka, I can tell you, for the first time, Zambians were prepared for anything. But because of what President Banda did, the country is calm and we're enjoying peace. The peace we've enjoyed throughout the nation. And I thank both presidents for what they did at the inauguration. Those are the true sons of Africa. And I want them to continue with this spirit without any political witch hunting. If there's anything wrong related to law, abrogating of the law, that will be taken care of. If there are any political differences, let them solve it politically and not anything to do with the political vengeance.
What about the cabinet, Abrey? Because it looks like Zambia has actually made history with the new cabinet, of course, by the appointment of the vice president, who is a Zambian but happens to be white, and the first white Zambian to hold that position. What is the reaction on the ground?
No, actually, it's a very interesting scenario because apparently Guy Scott, Vice President Guy Scott's parents, where I think they own the newspaper in the Northern Rhodesia government. So the issue here is not about ascending to office of a president. Of course, Vice President Guy Scott qualifies to act as president. In the Constitution, it says you should have your parents, mother and father, being born in Zambia, of which Guy Scott could not qualify. But it does not preclude him to act as president in an event that the president leaves the country. So here it's an issue of him being vice president and able to act as president in an event that the president is out of the country.
Well,
so it's not...
Go ahead.
It's not something to do with the election to president. Of course, when it comes to election to president, that's another thing. But he qualifies to act as president, but not ascending to the office of a president through election.